Two, excuse me, 2.5 goddamn hours this film was. 2.5 hours. This might not be pretty. Hey everybody, movie review next door here, and I'm back with another review. And thank fucking Christ, this is the last video of this series. Because we're talking about I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. This is a revenge film from 2019, directed by Mayor Zarki, and it stars Jamie Bernadette, Camille Keaton, Maria Olsen, Jim Tavare, Jonathan Pesci, Jeremy Feldman, Holgi Forrester, Roy Allen III, and Alexandra Kenworthy. So, spoilers ahead. In this film, following her rape, Jennifer Hills wrote a best-selling account of her ordeal and of the controversy in which she was accused of taking the law into her own hands and brutally killing her assailants. In the small town where the rape and revenge took place, the relatives of the rapist she killed are furious that the court declared her not guilty and resolved to take justice into their own hands. So, what did I think of I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu? Well, you know how have talked about people saying that what they're watching. Actually, let me turn down the brightness a little bit. No, I talk about people saying that this is the worst movie I've ever seen, it's the worst movie ever, and how I defend a lot of those movies, and I'm like, I can find things to like about them, be it score, be it acting, be it some action, and a lot of action movies do get talked about in that category. Not with this film. I legitimately cannot think of good things about this film because I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. I don't even like the original, but this spits in the face of the fans of the original. It really does. And it's directed by Mayor Zarki, the director of the original. How is that possible? You have the director of the original, you have the original star for some of it, and I'll explain. You have a continuation of the first film's plot. No, all of it is shit. But let me get to the cast first before I just absolutely decimate this film. Um, Jamie Bernadette plays Christy Hills, who is Jennifer's daughter. Jamie Bernadette is an actress who has been in mostly a lot of pretty indie type films. She's been in a lot of TV movies. She was in Son of Sam. Um, there's a film on my watch list with her called Deadly Attraction that I kind of want to see, even though it looks terrible. I like it interests me, the premise. Um, she was in, she's been in some Asylum films, Bunny Man Massacre, 420 Massacre. She's been in a lot of shit. And I've seen clips of her acting where she's not bad. She's not. This film does no favors to her, though, as most of the scenes are overlong and don't edit to actually give them a moment to shine. So her acting is not that great in this. Camille Keaton is Jennifer Hills, reprising her role from the first film. Now, one of the few things I said about the original was that I didn't hate Camille Keaton's performance. I think she tried. I think she's the only one trying in that film. Here, I hate to say it, but maybe she was a bit too old to do this film. I don't know if it's her age that's the issue. I don't know if it's that she's sick, but throughout this entire film, she sounds like she's trying to make her voice deeper or come off as more dominant or something because she talks like this throughout the entirety of her role, and it's really hard to listen to. And she's she was never in a lot of films. She's been in some random B movies, most likely due to the notoriety of I Spit on Your Grave. She's in another film called Savage Vengeance, which has been it's it's been re-released back in the day as an unofficial sequel to I Spit on Your Grave, where they overdubbed it and made it seem like it was a sequel. But yeah, she was in films like What Have You Done to Solange, Raw Force. She was in another movie where people were like trying to kill her. What the hell movie was it? Uh, I can't find it at the moment. It's not on Letterboxd, I don't think. But yeah, she's been in some random B movies. She was in a Rob Zombie movie, Lords of Salem. Um, but yeah, her acting here just isn't good. I hate to say it, but yeah, she's kind of painful to watch. She really doesn't have any direction to speak of either, and she just seems tired throughout the entire film. And again, her character acts really stupid. Maria Olsen plays Becky, who turns out to be Johnny's wife, who was in the original film, not Maria Olsen, the character. I'll say more on that later. Maria Olsen is an actress that I've seen. She's a character actress who's been in a lot of films. She was in Percy Jackson as the teacher, like the teacher that transforms into the first monster that he encounters. I thought she was fine there. I don't remember anything bad about her acting there, but she might have to stick to character acting. Um, but then again, most of the scenes are just super long and it's hard to really judge any of that. Jim Tavera plays Herman, who is Matthew, the mentally challenged character from the first one's father, even though he's not nearly old enough to be his father. I think he's maybe trying. Jonathan PC plays Kevin, who's a I think he's a cousin or something. He's either a cousin or a brother of somebody. He was horrible. He's he just seems cracked out the entire time. Just all of his dialogue feels very unnatural. Apparently, he was in The Love Witch, which, from what I've heard, that is an actually good horror movie. Never seen it though. Jeremy Ferdman plays Scotty, who's another one of them. He's whatever. Holgi Forrester plays Millie Stillman. I swear to God, throughout this entire fucking movie, she's drinking, and I swear, if real alcohol, she is the best actress in this and gives an amazing performance. I don't think that's what happened though. I think she's drinking actual alcohol because I doubt that Marizarki could get that performance out of anybody. But this Holgi Forrester woman, again, hasn't been in a lot of movies, so I kind of doubt it. But her performance is kind of funny and enjoyable to an extent. But yeah, Roy Allen the third, uh, uh, he plays the husband of this character. Also, these two people are Johnny's parents. Yeah, not even close to the right age. Uh, Roy Allen the third. This actor apparently was Angels and Demons. 100%. It was like a bit role or a background. He's horrible, and Alexandra Kenworthy plays Beady Eyes, who I don't even know who the fuck she's related to, but apparently she was in Robotech, kind of like in the third film where we had the actress who played Miyuki on fucking Lucky Star and a character in Code Geass. This character apparently is a voice actress. Uh, doesn't surprise me. She looks like one. Apparently, she was in Like Father, Like Son as well. She was not great. First thing, none of the performances in this film are impressive. I think that's partially due to the fact that Marzarki, I think he edited this. I might have to check. He is the writer. Okay, it was edited by Terry Zarki, who I think is the son. I'm pretty sure that's the son of Marzarki, who appeared in the first film just in the background because he plays one of Johnny's kids, and he appears in this one in the like background as his kid again. The editing in this film is awful. There's barely any editing. That's one of the main things, and one of the main reasons this film is 2.5 fucking hours long. Uh, it's it's really hard to get into any of the scenes when literally every scene goes on for like 9 or 10 minutes. There's a scene in this film where Jennifer and Christy are put into the back of a van, and then they pick up Maria Olsen's character, who is Johnny's wife. Even though I'll get to that, they talk to her for 9 straight fucking minutes, unedited, almost no editing other than looking at Christina sometimes because most of it is her talking to Jennifer. And that's one of the main issues with a lot of films nowadays is they don't have barely any editing to them. So and I feel like Miyazaki is trying wanted to do with this. He wanted an epic maybe. He wanted closure to Jennifer's character, and he also wanted to basically remake the original, but somehow even worse, in my opinion. Again, this is coming from someone who hates the original. Even if I did like the original, I don't see how I could ever enjoy this film. And with the acting, pretty much every villain is it's exactly the same type of acting as in the first film, but somehow worse. I saw a video from Brad the cinema snob where he fucking says that the acting in this is better. Again, at least Camille Keaton seemed like she was trying in the original. Here, she has no direction to speak of. She doesn't have a lot of experience with acting. She's mostly been in films where it's like, oh, she shows off her body and talks a bit, but it's mostly there to show off her body because she was a very, very beautiful woman. And that's what Hollywood tends to do, or B movies tended to do back then. But here, again, you have her return, Camille Keaton returning, which is a big bargaining chip of this film. If she wasn't in it, or Marzarki wasn't attached, a lot of people probably would not have seen this. But a lot of people pre-ordered the Blu-ray. They bought it on Blu-ray. They fucking paid money to stream it. I watched it on Tubi, so thank fucking God I saw this for free. I would have lost my shit if I had to pay money to see this. But Camille Keaton, again, if it turns out that she's sick or has some type of she sounds like she has some type of throat cancer. And I say that because I've heard people's voices who have had like kind of throat cancer or like issues with their voice box. They kind of sound like this. So if that is the case, I'm sorry. You shouldn't have been in the film. And I mean that in the best way possible. For your health, you should not have been in the film. Because she can barely run in a lot of the scenes. And I feel what happens about 50 minutes into the film may because when this film was finally being shot, she was going downhill health wise. I don't know how she is right now. This film is 5 years ago. But and I'm just gonna get it out of the way. They kill off Jennifer Hills from the original film. Again, this film is a direct sequel to the 78 I Spit on Your Grave. So it takes place 40 or 41 years later. So you kill off Jennifer Hills. And again, this might be because she had like a health scare or something because even when I saw the interview footage from around this time where they were interviewing her about this movie, she sounds the same. Because at first I was like, maybe it's an audio issue. Maybe they didn't properly record the audio for her. Maybe it was dubbed over while she was on a hospital bed. I don't know. Maybe it was a Peggy or whatever the character's name is from Sopranos deal. But I think I personally it feels like she wasn't able to record it. So, yeah, but yes, she gets beheaded by Becky. Yeah, Becky, the wife of Johnny. And this is after multiple times where Jennifer's character has had a gun, she had it on these guys, didn't shoot them even though she knows what they're after. They want revenge on her for the death of Johnny, and she has the gun on them after like disarming them once, runs away, runs to a church, or no, she rides with people who we don't know yet are Johnny's parents, but it's kind of insinuated to the church, gets dropped off, hides in a grave from Becky, and then tries to run up to the church doors like a fucking idiot. Becky comes up, slits her throat, and then beheads her, and then her daughter finds her. So you bring back Jennifer as a character just to kill her off. Again, the same fucking thing John Wick Chapter 4 did. Fucking Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 did. The thing No Time to Die did. The thing Scream 5 did. We're doing this all the fuck again. We're bringing back characters and being like, hey, aren't you glad that your favorite characters from the originals are back? Well, here's another thing. We're going to make them horribly unlikable. We're going to take away everything that you loved about them. We are going to make them the scum of the fucking earth. If they're a male character, they're going to be Me Too'd. Oh yeah, Force Awakens as well with Han. That was really nice, you guys. I don't want to hear anybody fucking defending that, saying that Han accepted his fate. He did it to to show that he wasn't afraid of death. No, Han in that film is nothing like he was in the original films. I don't want to fucking hear it. I mean, actually feel free to say whatever you want, but like, I'm just a bit fired up because this piece of fucking shit film did the same shit that all these other films get praised for doing. And I know this film doesn't get praised. It has a 2.4 out of 10 on IMDb, and it fucking deserves it. That I've seen some people say this is better than the third remake sequel. The third remake sequel was entertaining. Also didn't feature an overlong rape scene. Now, one thing I can say about this film, it's not really a point towards it because there's nothing really for it to replace it with. There are rape scenes, but they don't go on for too long and they aren't as nearly as graphic as the first film. I can give this film or the second remake sequel, which I hated, but that's still not really praise. But again, this film, Camille Keaton allegedly bothered Marzarki to make this over and over and over and over. She wanted a sequel for years, maybe even decades, and then he finally did it. And the fact that this is what he came up with really feels like he just made this to get her to shut up. because if they had made a sequel like maybe 10 years after, during, or like or maybe even in the 90s during the like revitalization of the slasher genre, maybe you would have had something. Maybe that could have been cool to see. Like, oh shit, this exploitation actress is coming back to play this character again. But no, you have this, which looks, it looks to me, okay, there's a YouTube channel called Kings of Horror that constantly has live streams of like super like minuscule budget horror films. And again, no hate to those people who make those films, but a lot of them look very cheap. They don't look like they have a lot of artistry to them. Most of the scenes are just shot like this, camera shaking sometimes, and they don't feel like there's a lot of love put into them. It feels like an excuse to get something onto streaming services. It'll have a poster like 5G zombies, and then there's not a zombie in sight, and pretty much all of it's filmed in one house, and they look like shit. Shit like directors like Dustin Ferguson make, or that fucking guy, what's his name, that made like Amityville Karen or whatever, that does videos. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I do videos where I'm like doing hauls, like Blu-ray hauls or DVD hauls, and I might do one recently because I did get some stuff finally. But I don't remember his name. I I don't care. I'm gonna make this video as long as I want, because Jesus Christ. Um, Let me see. Amityville Care. Sean C. Phillips. Yeah, Sean C. Phillips. Shit like Sean C. Phillips makes, where clearly there is no actual love in the craft, there's no actual artistry to it. It's just, I'm making a movie to sell tickets, or to sell online, make a minuscule amount of money, and then keep doing it. This film feels shot exactly like those types of films, where most of the dialogue scenes are shot reverse shot, but shot reverse shot in weird ways where sometimes the camera's looking at the person who's not talking. It's really weird looking. Um, and a lot of it seems very, uh, very like amateur. The budget of this film was $2 million. Now, that is not a lot of money, but you know what else cost $2 million to make? The I Spit on Your Grave remake, which I praised. Even though I don't love it, I did enjoy it. It truncated the rape scene and instead focused more on psychological horror. And again, it didn't bank on the rape scene for a lot of its running time. It actually spent a lot of the running time on good acting from the villains, our main character turning into kind of a badass by the end. You know what's another movie that cost $2 million? Hardcore Henry. Came out 4 years before this film, I think. And it's full of like insane gory action, fun. I'm not even joking. A fantastic performance by Sharlto Copley of District 9. A lot of movies. You know who Sharlto Copley is. An action thrill ride that people have really not given the love it deserves. Same director that would go on to do Nobody, which I can't wait for Nobody Part 2. I'd rather talk about these other movies than this fucking movie. Shit. Um, but this movie costs the same as the I Spit on Your Grave remake, which has some really fun and inventive death scenes. Like the one guy's face being melted off by the lye, or the one guy with the fish hooks through his eyelids tied to the tree and then the bird's pecking his eyes out, or Johnny getting his dick chopped off and bleeding all over the floor, the fucking sheriff having the shotgun stuck up his ass, shooting through his body and hitting Matthew. Like fun, inventive gore and actually interesting revenge. Here, what is the revenge? You have Matthew's dad gets a sickle in the back, which, if I can give this film anything, I guess, it's practical effects for some of it. Sickle in the back and then gets shot in the head. Another character, the like crazy one, she like starts like, you know, and then she sticks a bottle up there and like cuts into his dick, and then he starts bleeding everywhere. The other guy, she hits on the head, sticks her revolver up his ass and shoots him through the head, which again is something that was way better done in the remake. Especially since the effect doesn't look that good. And then Becky, the one who killed her mother, she barely gets revenge on because Becky, Johnny's parents come out of nowhere, and for no fucking reason, they never explain this. Why Johnny's parents come out of fucking nowhere and start beating the shit out of her. They never explain it. Like I'm at a loss for words. And then Christy hits her on the head with like a bottle, and then she's dead, I guess. And then later uh she's trying to get Jennifer's body from the grave that they dug for her. And then it turns out these are Johnny's parents. Ooh, they hit her into the grave. There's an overlong scene of them spouting Bible quotes because, do you get it? Marizarki doesn't like Christianity. So the villains are Christian zealots who, again, he clearly doesn't understand Christianity. Either that or he's just sticking to stereotypes of like really bad villains. Um, just really bad villain writing. Uh, and then they're just like singing and shit, walking away from the grave. She wakes up. She um hits the older woman in the head, who I don't know how she's related to anybody. No, 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 no. She like hits the woman in the back with the shovel, I think. She falls off the scooter. None of the other ones hear this because apparently everybody in this fucking movie is deaf. Um Freaking the old woman who I said it seemed like she was actually drunk gets hit in the head with the shovel and then pushed into her stomach. And then the old guy, who's Johnny's dad, ends up putting the body in the back of the truck. And then he seems like he's going to shoot her, and then he shoots himself. And then that's the end of the movie. But yeah, the revenge is fucking boring, just like in the original. Again, the thing about characters just not hearing, there are multiple times where characters could evade danger, but they're just stupid. Jennifer Hills, again, has gone through this. Her job now, which never comes into play, is counseling rape victims. And she has a memoir called I Spat on Their Graves. That never comes into play in the entire fucking movie, where she uses her, like, since she's a counselor, she could like maybe help counsel one of the characters and then evade like danger, something like that. I don't know. Or just have her be a psychologist and have her like working out somebody's issues. That would have been interesting. It would have added something to this overlong, horribly paced film. But Jennifer, again, she had the gun, she didn't shoot any of them. When she's at the church trying to bang on the door for help, she apparently doesn't hear fucking uh Becky on the four-wheeler driving up to go kill her. There's a part later where Matthew's dad doesn't realize that Christy is sneaking into his home. There's again a later part where Kevin and Scotty go out into the woods because they're trying to find Christy. Uh Kevin finds Christy and starts having sex, like she starts like, you know, and Sky's listening to music and doesn't think anything's wrong until he starts screaming about his dick being shot off, even though Christy shoots into the air. He apparently didn't hear that over the music, which doesn't make any fucking sense, especially given how it was shot. And these characters at the end getting killed because apparently they can't hear someone running at them with a shovel. Like, Mierzarki wrote this like he's mentally handicapped. I swear to God. Like, none of this is in any, like, I feel like a non-human wrote this. And just the amount of, like, issues in within the film that I, like, wrote down. I didn't write all of them, but, like, the first hour of this film is filler. You can cut it out because the hour and a half at the end is almost like an actual movie, because that's when Christie's character is raped and then just goes on her revenge spree. And I feel like if you cut out the first half of this film, which again, fucking, what's her name again? Camille Keaton isn't even really an entity past 50 minutes into the film. So you could just have the last hour and a half of the movie, which is basically make of spit I spit on your grave, but worse and more boring, and with nothing really to comment on to be for being good. But like it the first 50 minutes of this film is basically useless. You don't learn anything really. Uh a lot of there's a decent amount of padding with just like film clips from the original, which is weird. Like a character's like loading a gun and then you see Jennifer loading a gun and it's like, okay, whatever. Like, I get it. Both of them loaded guns. There's a bit where Christy like sneaks into Matthew's dad's house and starts drinking soda. And again, it's an unmarked can, whatever. You couldn't get the brand name. I don't give a shit. It's not that distracting to me. Some people might be snobby and find it distracting. I don't care. And then it's like dripping down her face, but it's clearly water. So you mean to tell me you couldn't even find like a black liquid or, I don't know, use actual soda? Like the budget is not that fucking cheap. That again, pretty much all film sets have catering. I'm pretty sure if you can afford catering for your film, you can afford soda for one scene where she's drinking it, which again is very padded. Like it goes to her like slowly walking into the house for like 30 seconds, picking up this like roll of sausage, I guess, the character that Matthew's dad was eating before, but she's just eating it, and then it cuts to him outside raking, cuts back inside, she's drinking the water soda, cuts back to him raking, cuts back, she goes to the fridge. You see her walk to the fridge because this film is padded to shit. She picks up the jug of milk and starts drinking it. And then he's like walking inside, and I know it's kind of nitpicky, but it's a thing that happens in a lot of films. He has like a gun holstered by the door that he goes for at the in kind of the next part of the scene, and then she reveals she took out all the ammo. We didn't see that happen, and in the small amount of time he was walking up there, screens in front of the room that he's walking into, so would he be able to see her running around? But this is supposed to be like a cool, like she's in the rocking chair, not having any worries because he doesn't have ammo. but it's just the thought of her like running everywhere really quickly before he gets up there is just funny to me. Um, oh yeah, this weird thing, it happens in big budget films as well, but it's a thing that really sticks out here as I just watched the original. And I bet most people who watched this back when it came out rewatched the original knowing it was a sequel. Every time there's a picture of a character from the first film, it is literally a picture from the first film. The picture that he shows Jennifer of Matthew is from the scene where he's bringing her groceries, and it's very obvious. And even on the crosses where they are buried at the church, which are really cheap plastic looking crosses, I'm pretty sure you can find some scrap wood somewhere for free. It would look more interesting and more, creepy. It's literally from the POV of Matthew assaulting her in the first film on her cross. Now I know it's kind of like out of the way, but I was like, that's a weird looking picture. Oh wait, that's from when he was molesting her or assaulting her. Like, why the fuck would you use that picture? Because you see a picture later where that's again, you see pictures everywhere. There's like a picture on um freaking Becky's desk at the gas station that she works at because Johnny used to work there, where it's clearly like an on-set picture. So you couldn't just find on-set pictures of all the actors, or what about this? Family photos you edited them out of? Like I don't know. But and this weird age thing where Christina is it turns out to be the daughter of Johnny because Johnny assaulted Jennifer, and Jennifer kept it from her because she thought that she would be disappointed or would be mad at her or something weird like that. Even though she knows, like, where else would she have come from? Because again, she was born without a dad, and they never even hint at her having a stepdad. So I don't know why. Like, it's obvious that it's going to be one of their kids because Maria Olsen's character, Becky, constantly says, I like your eyes. You look like someone I used to know. That would mean Christina is supposed to be 40 or 41, given that this film came out in 2019, 40 years after the original, or 41 years. The actress was 32, but she looks 25, 26. Jamie Bernadette could not look less 40 if she tried. Which would also mean that Maria Olsen's character is supposed to be, again, the wife of Johnny, when Maria Olsen, the actress they picked, would have been 12 years old in 1978. She would have been 12. So, definitely not the age of the woman that we saw in I Spit on Your Grave, who was clearly late 20s, early 30s. And the characters that play Johnny's parents, how old would they have? I'm just gonna look this up because I don't care how long this is. How old would they have been back then? Let's see. Oh, apparently she was on the Fine Brothers. Okay, born in 1948, which would mean that in 1978 she would have been 30, possibly the same age or younger than Johnny was in the original. Actually, I'm gonna look that up now. Born 1948, let's see. I spit on your grave. Let's see how old Aaron Tabor would have been. Born in 1944. So the actor playing his mother would have been 4 years younger than him. Let's check with the dad too. Who played the dad? Roy Allen III. Let's see. Oh, his birthday isn't there. Oh my God, there's not enough information about him. Well, I can't find his birthday, but still, um, again, very obviously not the right age. But yeah, like this weird age thing, again, I understand casting must be hard, but you can at least cast correct age-wise. And again, even if they were the correct age, they would be what, 100 at least? So they'd be like eight babies of 20 something year olds, like 20 or 21-year olds. They would have been 100. Again, Camille is supposed to be sort of the same age as Maria Olsen's character. And again, Maria Olsen was 50. I'm sorry, this is so long. Um, Maria Olsen would have been 53. And again, Camille Keaton is was 72. 53, 72. There's a bit of a difference there, given that all three of those characters, Jennifer, Johnny, and uh, Becky, were supposed to be the same age or around that. So yeah, even they might have even been hinting that Jennifer was younger than Becky because she did kind of look a bit younger than Becky in the original. But yeah, this film. Oh my God, I've hit 40 something minutes on this. Oh yeah, this also has no score like the original, which I think harms it more than helps it. Some people say that that makes it feel more raw in the original. I don't agree, but yeah. I really can't talk much more about this. It's a horrible fucking movie that feels like it was made just for the fuck of it. And yeah, I'm done talking about this. So, that was my review of I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu. If you like the video, comment down below. Or if you like the film, tell me, or if you have any thoughts about the film, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.